Welcome, everyone. We have podcast number 59 on the Flow Show. Friend of mine and a also avid poker player, professional football star. I mean, you're a star. You're a professional football player. Very cool. Moestafa El Kabir. How you doing, Moestafa?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Great to that we finally do this. I know we've met in Las Vegas. You come in the summers, several summers you've been there, and we've hung out. I know you've played a few tournaments, but also you enjoy PLO. Tell me how much. Give us a little before we dive into your whole soccer and football career. How much poker? When did you start going to Vegas? How many World Series have you gone to?
Oh, I would say 5 or 6. 2011, 2012. One of those summers was the first summer. I would say 2012 was the first summer. I didn't play any poker tournaments though. It was more like a tourist visit.
Cash game, maybe just hop in. You're at a casino, sit down a bit.
I played more like casino. I didn't even play that much of poker, to be honest.
What's your casino game? What's the game that you kind of, if you're just going to have some fun, a couple of drinks and relax? What do you like to do?
I like to play blackjack. Blackjack is one of the favorites.
I can tell, like you just like your PLO. You know, you like the fast action. You know, the roulette takes a while. You want to get in, and you like to see some cards, have some fun.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, we'll talk about some poker and stuff later, but give us a little bit of a background. You're born in Morocco, but I see you moved to, I believe, Holland right away after you were born. So tell me a little bit about your upbringing and where you were raised.
I'm raised in Holland, Amsterdam. I lived there for 20 years, roughly, and then I moved to Sweden. I changed club when I moved to Sweden. I went to play soccer in Sweden, so I moved there. I spent there 1.5 years before I moved to Italy. From Italy, I moved back to Sweden. From Sweden, I moved to Saudi Arabia. Played there for 6 months. From Saudi Arabia, I moved to Turkey. Played there for in a total of 4 years, 4.5 years. In between there, I played 6 months in Japan.
Japan?
Yeah, man.
Well, how was that?
It was amazing. Really, I have nothing but positive things to say about the country, about the people, about their manners. It's a totally different world, man.
Let me rewind a bit, because I do, I'm looking your Wikipedia, and I know we've discussed you've played for several different clubs. I mean, it's interesting. You're already rattling off different countries. This isn't just like moving from a team in Italy to Italy. Like, you're jumping around to different continents. You're playing a lot, so you've had a lot of travel experience and moving. But I want to know about the youth system, because it is interesting. You played Ajax, obviously. I played football as well, soccer, American football. I'm sorry, European football. The world is confusing because most of our guests are in the U.S., right? So you're a professional soccer player. Let's just call it that for the sake of the viewers. You were playing on Ajax, which is one of the powerhouse clubs in the world. Obviously, most people know that name, whether or not you follow it closely. How did that go? So you were playing at a high level in Holland, and then what? You got asked to come, and you actually were in the Ajax youth system, or how did that work?
Well, it was actually quite funny. I was never seen as a talented prospect or anything like that. I have been scouted earlier in my career. In Holland, the youth system mostly work like this. You get scouted at the early age. Mostly from 8 to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then you get going into the academy, and from there on you basically learn every step of the way, like most of the people know who really know soccer and who are into it. Ajax have provided one of the biggest how can I say, youth youth
Prospect.
players.
They have one of the best youth systems of
Like
development.
they raised one of the they have like one of the most highest rate of own production,
Right.
to
Yes.
say it in the right way. Their own homegrown players is one of the biggest and highest rate in the world, and
They take it all the way to the youth, to the full team. They go through the system and then they play within Ajax.
exactly. That's what I tried to say.
Right.
And so many big players come from the academy of Ajax. So many played on such a high level.
So tell me when give it, because it is very interesting. In the U.S. is starting to do this a bit more. These academies where players go to school, they live. So is it literally like you live at a place, you go to school, you train, you go to classes with the guys, or do you go
No,
come back?
no, they basically pick you up from school. You go to school regularly, where in the area where you live. They pick you up after school. You get off earlier than your teammates or classmates, which was a nice thing. And then they take you to training. You train. You eat after the training. 1 or 2 days in the week, they give you extra lessons because of the lessons that you miss on school, like homework. They help you with your homework.
Right.
And it's just such an incredible academy. It's so complete and so professional, and the results shows everything. So it's well organized, and after the training, they bring you safely home, and yeah, that's how it goes.
Very cool. So you're with the Ajax. You're training with them, and you're doing that. And then, at what age did you then move? What was the next step after you left from there, from the Ajax?
Well, it's a lot of steps in between before I broke through in the on the highest level in Holland, in the Eredivisie. Um, I went when I left Ajax. I had to leave. I was like a bad kid, to say so, and I had to leave. It had nothing to do with my qualities on the pitch, though. I was being stupid, to be honest, and that's totally on me.
Not to go into details, but what you're just talking, just in terms of you're.
No, I can go into details. We had a nice tournament in Spain. We were playing Barcelona, Real Madrid, and we were all in the same hotel. And it's quite funny now with the corona and so on. But I had to sneeze, and my teammate was next to me, and I sneezed in his newspaper. He was reading the newspaper, and he got mad, and he got up and started spitting on me, and we had a fight there.
Oh wow! So that okay. All right. So there's a little look
it was back in the days. I would I would,
Yeah. Listen,
I would
yeah,
do that again.
yeah, you got jokes, things, people are messing around, teammates, you're trying to have fun, and you push buttons and it happens. That kind of stuff does happen. But so you end up leaving eventually. You go out of there, and I see a team in 2008-9 NEC. Is this what this is in the Holland?
Yeah, this is in Holland. It's in a small city in the east side of the country. Very nice family club. I had such a nice period there before I left. I mean, it was the first steps in my professional career. It was on the highest level. I got to play my games there. I played in the Europa League. At that time, it was called the UEFA Cup. So even on a European level, it was nice to be part of that team.
And was this a club that what were you playing forward at this time or no?
I was playing left winger. So basically, I was playing attacker in the second team before I came up, because I played in the second team before I came up. I was playing striker, but I could play any position up front. So they put me on the left wing.
Okay, so now you're playing here. Is this a paid contract on this team, NEC? Is this like you signed a deal, or
I signed like. It's not. It's a contract, but it's really not. I was like, how do you call it? They pay you because because you spend your time there, basically.
Okay.
It wasn't an official contract. It was like do you call it, man? My English became so bad.
No,
Uh,
I understand. I know what you're saying. It's yeah, so you're basically it's almost like a trial, or they're not giving you like a set, you didn't sign like a
it
set
wasn't
deal
it wasn't a salary. They were paying me money, but it wasn't a salary. It was like
for your time, like an appearance, like just sort of just something to
exactly.
live, but it wasn't like a lucrative contract.
Oh hell no!
No.
It was like 670 euros, and believe me, after a week and a half, it was gone.
Right. Okay.
So
But so you're there for 2 years at NEC. It's the same kind of thing. And then you, I see that you went to, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but MJALLBY, Jalby or
Mielby.
Mjällby. So where
Yeah.
is that? That's also in Holland, or is it Italy?
No, that's in Sweden. That's in Sweden. That's the time when I went to Sweden. That was the first time I went to Sweden. And yeah, from there on, my career went upwards.
I see you had 10 goals that season. You logged a ton of minutes. You know, I'm looking at your stats on the Wikipedia and all this stuff. So you really played a lot of appearances, goals. You really kind of took off here. And was this a paid? This was a paid. They signed you as a professional footballer.
Yeah.
You got a deal.
I got a deal in NEC as well. When I made my first appearance in the first team, they immediately wanted to offer me a contract. I signed like a 3-year deal, but before that contract ended, we parted ways, and I went to Sweden, and it was also on quite okay. It was an okay deal for a guy who's 21.
Right. So you get a deal. You're now you're. I mean, it's pretty cool. At what point did you realize, when you were maybe in the IXU system? I don't really understand. Of course, I played growing up, and I always wanted to play professionally. I ended up playing in college, but kind of knew right away I wasn't going to play professional. Like once I hit sort of college, and it just wasn't. I sort of knew I hit where I was going to go. When did you know that you were going to be able to play as a career? Because I'm sure every kid, you're in the IXU system, everyone wants to be professional. Everyone thinks like, I can do it or I'm good. Like, when did you know that you were really going to be able to play professionally?
Oh, but that's the funny thing, Jeff. When I was younger, I didn't really get scouted, while my other friends, youth friends, got scouted. And I was just playing in my amateur club and playing like with any team that's possible, like under 17, under 16, under 18, anywhere they needed a player, I was there. On Saturdays and Sundays, it was the days of the games, and I was just there hanging around. Hey, anybody need a player? I'm here. Obviously I played in my own team. I played like under 17, but I played with any team, and it just made me such a so much better player than I was before. And then I got the opportunity. I don't know who until this day. I don't know who tipped them about me that there was a good player and that was making steps. And as a 16-year-old, I started to play in the first team of my amateur club, and it was on quite high level. And until this day is a question mark for me, who ever fixed that for me. But Ajax invited me. We actually played the American college team in my trial game.
Do you remember which team?
I don't have a clue. It was a college team, and I remember I scored 2 goals in the first half, and they took me out directly and said, "Hey, we've seen enough."
That's awesome. But where was that game? The college, the U.S. team was over there playing.
They were in Amsterdam. Yeah.
Okay. And so, all right. So you signed this deal. What was that like? So what was the big first moment then? Was it the one when you went to Sweden, or was that already the NEC when they signed?
No, NEC. When I made my first appearance, like in the highest league as a professional, that was big for me. I shed some tears. You wouldn't say that, but I really did. I was so happy, and that was the start of my career.
And how did your family, everyone feel about you playing the whole way? Were they always supportive? I mean, because I guess as a youth, right, it's good to be on a team, to have structure. It's all like normal, right? But then to say I'm going to play professional, it's tricky. It's fun. It's lucrative. It's exciting, but it's hard. And the average span of a player, it's not a lot of years, and it's a little tricky. Was your family like super excited? You're playing? Were they like, be careful, have other plans, or what did they?
No, once I became professional, they were excited, but before that, it was all but excitement. And to be honest, I mean, I have nothing to lie about. There wasn't any support at all because. Um, Even though I understand the situation back then, we are 7 kids at home, and my father was the only one working. My mother took care of the kids, and I at that time I didn't understand why there wasn't any support. But now that I'm older and I understand the situation back then, I can understand why they had other thoughts. They would like me to go to school, and my parents are old school. Either you go to school, get a degree, and make something out of your life, or go work, find a job, or whatever.
Right.
But once I went to Ajax, the only thing in my mind was to become a professional football player, and I can happily say I had an amazing journey until now, and I hope I still have a couple of years to go.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that. I know this last season was with the serious injury, which we'll cover and talk about because yeah, I mean, I think you were saying you had never had a real injury, and then there was a very dramatic, and I saw you sent me the picture actually, and saw it looked like a horror movie, like the clamp, like the jaws on.
Yeah, man.
Really sick, but we'll get. I mean, that was all the way right 2019, 2020. We're still running through the career. You go to Sweden. How was that? Was that exciting or scary for you? Was it to move from NEC to Majalbi? Is that right, Majalbi?
Yeah. I know it was. I was excited, because I had like a revenge feeling, like I'm gonna show everybody how good I am, because I'm tired of people talking bad about me, giving me this stamp of a bad kid, and so on. I mean, earlier in my earlier days when I was even younger, obviously I made some mistakes in my career. I won't deny that, but to give me this stamp of a bad kid, I don't think it fits me, because I'm not that bad at all.
No, I know you have a big heart, man. I could tell right away. We chat, and I know we spent some time together and talk as well. And yeah, it is cool. It's cool to see you have this long of a career, because it's a long career. I know the NFL, the National Football League statistics and some of the NBA averages, but I imagine it's similar for a professional footballer, soccer player. The careers aren't, average is probably 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know, right? So you've been in for what, 10 plus years more?
Yeah, 12 years now, man.
Yeah, so it's a long career. I mean, even if it were to end today, which that's not the plan, you still have more to give, even though you had a serious injury. Was there any times along in the middle or early on where you said, I don't know if this is for me, or was it always like, this is it?
Hell no. Hell no. No. Absolutely not, man.
Always wanted loved it.
Yeah. I just, it might sound crazy, but I just think I'm such a good player, man. And I wouldn't see myself playing any team. Like any team. Obviously it's not realistic in everybody's eyes, but put me in any team and I know I can handle it. So that's how I think about myself, and that's how I always thought about myself and about my skills and my qualities. So I never had any thoughts along the way that I should give up. I have been in tough spots, man, really. Sitting at home in the summer, no contract, waiting for clubs, waiting for offers. It is tough.
For sure. Yeah. Let me ask you a bit about that. How do you work with an agency, with a particular person? Do you have someone that chops your stuff, or do you mostly do it your own? Or
I've had I've had an agent for like 6 years, the same agent, and then I broke up with him a year ago or something, and I did my last deal I did myself. My last 2 deals, I did it myself. I've been in the game so long, I basically know everything how it goes down. So I didn't really need any help with it. And I have my lawyer. I have my lawyer who do my paperwork, who I always can reach out to. So it wasn't that hard.
Right. Yeah. It's so it's cool. I mean, you get some experience on that side as well. Is that something that would interest you to be an agent or to be in like after your career? Because you're 31, 32?
32 in October.
So almost 32. Even say you play 2, 3, 4 more years. What do you see after football? What would be something you'd want to do or be?
Oh, absolutely. That would be being a football agent, a soccer agent. I mean, I've been in a lot of places, worked a lot with many people, and worked very well with a lot of people, which can help me in my future. So that's really one of the things that I'm thinking about, being a football agent. I mean, football has been my life for the past 20 years. So. Why not make it the rest of my life of it?
Right, and you love it. You seem to really love people. You're high energy. You love it seems that it fits your profile. That would be cool. A good way to continue on in the sport. So let's talk a little more. You're at this about the career. You're in Sweden. You're at this team. It looks like your career sort of takes off. I see you have 10 goals that first season there in Sweden. You're doing well. The next season you're there as well, but then you go to Cagliari, if I'm pronouncing it right. But I know the club. It's in Italy. Is that Serie A? The Serie
Yes, Serie A. Yeah.
Highest, I mean, you're at the highest division, highest in the world. How was that to go? You were on loan for them or what? Because that's pretty crazy, right? Like that's a big. That's a Sweden, Holland. These are all great, but this is like Serie A, Bundesliga, Premier League. This is the highest level there is.
Yeah, well, it was kind of funny, how that deal went on, because I thought they were taking me permanently, like on a 4-year deal. I thought I signed a 4-year deal. Eventually, it showed that it was a loan with an option, which I basically didn't know. It was an Italian agent involved, and it was all a little bit unclear. Anyway, I got there. I had an amazing time. I learned a new language, which I until today still know. I made some new friends for life. I still have really good contact with Raja Nainggolan, who's playing in Cagliari right now. He's on loan from Inter. Is one of my best friends in football, and I had an amazing start. I got
your first game there, right? Didn't you score
Yeah.
the first game? Was that against Roma or who?
Yeah, it was against Roma. I was stopped in like 5 minutes before the end, and scored the second goal, winning 2-1 against Roma away. That I couldn't dream of a better start, man. In the Serie A, it was crazy. It was so crazy.
That's pretty exciting. I mean, those are the things, right? Look back on to say you played Serie A, scored game-winning goals with Roma. That's like those are the things you can't take away, right? That's like all.
Nobody will ever take that away from me. And that's also one of the things that I have in my mind. In my mind, if I can score against Roma, I can score against everybody, and that will sit for always in my mind.
That's pretty exciting. So you do go there. You thought it was going to be a multiple year deal. For whatever reason, you're there for the season. You have a good time, and then you go to a club called Häcken. Is that right? Where is that?
Häcken. It's in the place where I live now. It's in Gothenburg. Very nice club, very well organized. I had like one of the best periods of my career there. Scoring a lot of goals, getting to Europe, to the Europa League with the team, and it was crazy.
And so you do move there. I see also you scored. You had the most goals, 12 your first season there. Ton of minutes, playing a ton. What clicked and how did you get there specifically? How did they contact you? Or what do you think was the reason why that club versus all the other clubs? What made you go there?
I could choose between the champions of Sweden, Malmo, and I could and Häcken, and my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, was living in Gothenburg.
Oh wow!
Uh,
So in 2013, so 7 years now. You've met.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I met her in 2010 when I in my first year in Sweden.
Okay.
So it's been a long time now.
You have two children, or
Yeah, I have two daughters. One is almost 6, and the youngest one is 1 year, 1.5 almost.
awesome? Yeah, it's a
So
fun age. I know.
yeah,
My
man,
1 year this week. It's cool, man. Kids are
it's
great.
it's crazy. It lightens my day. You see, I get a big smile only by talking
Yeah.
about it.
Do you want
Uh,
more? Is 2 your number, or do you think would you like to have more? Or?
I would want to have a boy, but my wife isn't really looking forward to having another kid. So I might try it again in a couple of years. Let the
Okay.
other kids grow first, and we'll
Right.
see then.
All right. Fair enough.
So I could choose between those clubs, and to be honest, the offer of Häcken was way better than Malmo. So and then I had a meeting with the coach who really wanted me. And you want that feeling that a coach really wants you, that a club really wants you, and they showed it both by coach and their proposal. So it was a easy choice for me, and with that, we were living in the city where my wife have her whole family and friends. So it was good for us all.
That's awesome. That's nice when that stuff comes together. So now that's where you are actually at the moment, but you play there 2013, 2014, and then is this when you went to Saudi Arabia? Al Ahly? What's that about? How did that fit into the equation?
Al Ahly, yeah. Well, I scored a lot of goals, and I played so well that like it was one of the best periods in my career. Like I said, and I got offers. I could actually go to China. It was between China and Saudi Arabia, honestly, because those were the offers where I could earn the most money. And there's a lot of players who say, "Yeah, I don't play for money." Well, I do.
Yeah, it's like tournament poker or cash games. Like, yeah, listen, I'm a poker player. I want to make the most money. Like, there's most
Exactly.
times you have to, it's not everything, but
Mm,
that's like a driving force during the prime of your career. You got to go where you think you can make
Exactly.
the
I
most.
mean, that's how it works, and a lot of players don't like to talk about money. I don't really care, and most of them say, "Yeah, no, I don't play for money. I want success. I want this. I want that." Well, I want success as well, but I want money as well. I don't want to work after my career, and or I will work after my career, but I want my children to be safe after my career.
Right. Yeah.
So.
So you get offered by this club, you go there, and what happened? How was it like? What was give me a little bit of perspective on the different countries and quality and leagues. Like obviously Bundesliga, uh, Serie A in Italy, the top club or top level where you were there with one of the Cagliari. You were in that domain. So I'm not as familiar with Sweden. I know they have obviously MLS, right? USA. They have
Yeah.
their league. It's gotten a lot more powerful. It's becoming better. People are starting to go there. I know we talked as well. That's something you're entertaining maybe to try to get play in there as well because it's a real option. But how does a Saudi Arabian league, how does a Sweden league, Turkey, how do these countries, their top divisions, kind of compare to like the MLS for say? Are they paying players more? Is the level
Well,
high? How
I,
does
I
that work?
I know for a fact that in Turkey they're paying way more than in the US
Right.
because everything is net. The clubs pay the taxes, so everything the player gets is like net money. You don't have to pay any taxes over that.
Interesting.
And then Sweden is like totally different. In Sweden you earn much less money than in the MLS. The MLS, though, it makes it a little bit different because of the salary caps they have. In Sweden, there's no salary cap, so one particular player can earn a lot of money.
Right.
but it have to be like a special player.
Give me an idea if you can, like the MLS. I'm not sure now. I've heard numbers, but they do these farewell kind of contracts, right? Like Thierry Henry, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So they're bringing these like monster stars, and they kind of still pay them big, and they have that's like outliers. But what is Sweden or Saudi Arabia or China? What are like a top level? Like what can the highest paid player on a team make?
Oh well, in Sweden it probably is like $25,000 a month gross.
Okay.
I don't see anybody who earn more than that in Sweden. But if it's a good player, they probably have had a nice sign on of $500,000.
Right. Okay. And yeah, that makes sense.
That's Sweden. And in China, China is a different world. They pay sick money. They pay whatever a player wants. I mean,
Right.
if it's a player they want, they pay whatever they want for him.
It's kind of like the NBA as well. Stephen Marbury or some guys, like they bring NBA guys over as well. There's some players that go there kind of at the end, or just big names, and they'll pay them. Yeah, I've heard crazy numbers. So that's a different world.
Oh yeah, I believe that immediately.
Yeah.
And in Saudi Arabia it's the same, but it's like the foreign players earn a lot of money there. At the time that I was playing there, you could only have three foreign players, so it made me even more valuable. That's the reason why I got that big contract there.
Which one was that? Which country?
In Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Yeah. So how was that? Was that a big shock to you? Had you ever been there before? You just like went there, showed up?
Oh no, I'm Moroccan, so the Arabic culture, we have it at home. And when I went there, to be honest, I was in shock because of the view that we have in the Western world of Saudi Arabia.
Right.
It might sound controversial, but it's a beautiful country, and I lived there in peace, and I didn't see any weird things or negative things that is brought up in the media and stuff like that.
Right.
I know it's a sensitive subject for a lot of people, but that's my experience there, and it was an amazing time, and it was good weather.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because it's similar to Russia. I was just in Russia last month, right before the coronavirus, sort of the last the place of traveling. I've always had these predetermined perception of Russia, just like it's cold, the people aren't friendly, these type of things in general. That's sort of how like we're programmed in the US, and just in general, like different countries, you sort of have your stereotypes on. But I had a great time. The food was great, world-class facilities, like very impressed, service, everything was very good. And that's same like you're mentioning, there's a lot of like, you see media or little bits and pieces, and then you kind of think, oh, this is a strange place, or you can't do this, and it's like whatever. But really, you get there and it's just like normal, like things are nice.
No, it's amazing. The people are so nice, man. And I was playing for a big club, so if I go to the mall, a lot of people come and want to take a picture and say hello. But they were so nice, so nice people, so polite, and it was totally a different view of what the media and the Western world really have about Saudi Arabia.
And give me if you will, just kind of, we'll talk about some of these other clubs because you played in other countries, but just kind of run through NEC, Maljabai, Cagliari, and these Al Ali. Like, what kind of stadium, what kind of capacities do these clubs have? Like, give people a perspective on the amount of fans that are coming.
Well, in Sweden, it isn't that big. I mean, there are big clubs. I think Malmo have 22,000, 24,000. AIK have like 40,000. They have the biggest stadium in Sweden, but it's almost never filled. Hammarby and Djurgården, they have like 33,000. Those stadiums are nice. It's a nice atmosphere to play, but there are so many small clubs that have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people watching when they have their.
What does Häcken have, for example?
Oh, Häcken is one of the small clubs who have like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 at max.
But but they're generally pretty full, passionate. It's like a hometown
Yeah,
club.
yeah. They have built a new stadium that fits perfectly for the club.
Right.
It's small, it's nice, it's tight, it's close to the pitch. So
yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
So wide range though. Some of these, different clubs and sizes, but the leagues are.
I played in Turkey. I play in big stadiums, 55,000. I played Galatasaray away, full stadium, like one game before they became champion. 55,000. You can't hear
I've been
anything.
to a Galatasaray game. I went with actually Antonio Esfandiari. We went over some of our Turkish friends, and then we went to a game. It's so crazy there. They don't let away fans. Certain games they won't let the other team into the stadium because it's too crazy. Like they just
it's risk.
It's
too high risk.
You can't wear like the wrong. Yeah, exactly, man. It's so passionate. So yeah, tell me after you leave Saudi Arabia, is that where you went to a club in Turkey? Is this how do you pronounce this one?
Gençler Birliği.
Yeah, I'm not going to try that one.
I had some problems with it as well in the beginning. No, that's actually where I had my absolute best period in my career.
Yeah, I see the minutes played were the most by far in these seasons, and some good success and goals and big. It seemed like your numbers.
Great. I had a crazy time there, man. I was so good. I actually when I look back the footage, I think of myself being able to play so much higher than that level that I played at. But it is what it is,
How many what kind of stadium do they have? What kind of capacity?
Oh, they have a new stadium now as well. 25,000.
Oh wow! So this is the team when you played here. This is where they were in the league with Galatasaray, and
yeah.
You're playing the top Turkish teams.
I scored against all of them every season. Season.
Yeah, I got to. Man, I got to. I've seen some footage. I've seen some good stuff. You got to send me like your highlight reel, man. I want to play it on Twitch and show some stuff, man.
I will.
Send me the links. All right, so you're playing, you're traveling, and then what about Japan? Where does Japan fit into this?
It's a funny story, because the coach that I had in Italy became the coach in Japan, and the sportive director who brought me to Italy, he became the sportive director in Japan. So he called me, he said, do you want to come to us? We're interested, we need a striker, and so on. And you can earn good money. It's a nice place, good facility, good stadium, good fans. It was a small city, so he explained everything, and I was like, hell yeah! If the coach wants and the contract is good, why not?
What year was this?
Sorry?
What year? When was this? When did you go there?
2015.
Oh, so this was in between when you were in the Turkey.
No, yeah.
After Turkey, after this club.
After Gençler Birliği, I went to Japan.
Is that them? Is that Sagan Tosu?
Yeah, exactly.
And how did that go? How was it there?
Well, it was crazy. I mean, I was at the other side of the world, and new culture, new language, new people, but such a nice environment, such a nice experience. I was there like 6 months. I had a big contract. At the time that I was gonna leave, my family was in Sweden, so they weren't with me all the time in Japan. And then I got an offer in Turkey, closely for the same amount of money.
Antalyaspor? How you spell it?
Yeah, Antalyaspor.
Yeah, so that's also with Galatasaray in the top Turkish league.
Yeah.
So then you move. So you're in Japan for 6 months or so, and then you left?
6 months, and then I left because I was closer to home. Turkey is for us here in Sweden. It's around the corner. Basically, it's a 3-hour flight. So yeah, I went there, and we had a good team. I was playing with Eto'o, Samuel Eto'o, who played in Barcelona, Inter Milan, and all the big teams. It was a nice experience. It was a nice time, and then we got tangled up in some financial issues at the club. The president left, and I left the club, and so on. I told you before I had a dispute with them, and now it's almost done.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's I don't. That might be private, but it was a big. There was a big sort of situation that did some paperwork and lawyers had to get involved, and it is being situated.
Yeah. It's almost done now. Corona put a hold on everything, but it will be over soon. But that's not where my focus is at the moment. I just want to get back on the pitch.
Yeah, so let's just kind of go through again to wind out the career. Then you're there, you're playing at this high level again, and you're at the top Turkish, which is it's a passionate. Where would you rank Turkey football with the top four? Right, it's Bundesliga, Champions,
Serie A, absolutely.
But then I mean these other countries, like where does the MLS rank versus Turkey, Sweden, in this type of level of play? Would you say?
In level, like the best players in the MLS, or the best, I would say the best teams in the MLS would beat the top teams in Sweden, I would guess.
Right.
The MLS don't stand a chance against Turkish top teams.
Right, because I mean,
obviously there's levels in levels. Like in the Turkish, even in Turkish league, there are bad teams, good teams, middle teams. But if you take the top teams against top teams, they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, and the MLS again is obviously getting stronger because they're
absolutely
taking the older players kind of out their careers that are very world class and bringing them. So like the levels are gonna shift, but. Yeah, that's a good perspective. I mean, Turkish is a high level, and obviously,
absolutely.
They've won. I think they've won the Champions League, or they've been fine. They've been deep. I mean, they're one of the premier clubs in the world generally as well. So that's pretty cool. That you're battling with those guys, and then you go back to Häcken, which is the area you're in now, and so you went back for a season there.
No, it wasn't for a season. It was like a 10-game stretch because of the Swedish season is winter summer league. No, yeah. In Europe we start in September. In Sweden they start in May.
Okay, so there's some
they're overlapping each other, and so I could have this loan period for 10 games to Häcken. I played there just a small period of time, and then I went back to Turkey again. I got a new offer by Ankara Gücü.
Yep, I remember. I think that's sort of when we were, maybe that summer we were chatting. We were in Vegas, and you were telling me about that. So again, it's a top team in Turkey, another top.
It's a very, very big historical team that has been falling down with debts and bad management and stuff like that, but which is in the highest league again.
Yeah.
It's a club with very, very big fans, very passionate fans, crazy fans.
And how again, so similar big. How many teams are in the top? Because it's like Premiership's 20. The MLS has
18.
18 teams are in the same kind of thing. There's a relegation, like the top 2 or 3 teams.
The last 3 teams go down, and from the second league, two go up immediately, and 4 teams play for 1 playoff.
Right. That's
one playoff spot.
Okay, very cool. And my dad's actually in the chat. My Richard Gross, what's going on, Dad? Good to see you checking this out. I know he was very interested about. He loves poker and he loves soccer. Those are 2 of his favorite things. So he didn't want to miss this. He's asking, is there a big mental part to your preparation? Because talk to me about game day, for example. Do you meditate? do you have a routine? Like, how do you eat?
No, I have big.
Before a game?
I am. I usually. I usually before the game we go. We stay one day before the game. We stay in a hotel with the whole team.
Yep.
So you eat together, you chill together. I have my PlayStation often with me, play games together. You go to sleep in the morning, you eat breakfast, and then when it comes closer to the game, you start to get the tension in your body. It's getting you're getting excited. You will go into the changing room. I put my headphones on. I put some nice music. I have a playlist that I play before the games. I pray before I go onto the pitch. May God protect us and help us. You go in, you get the butterflies in your stomach, and once the whistle blows, everything is gone. You're just into the game. You just focus. It's basically just music. I listen to music in my preparation. So
Do you ever have a hard time sleeping, like the night before a game? You get so excited, or kind of like you just sort of relax and wake up and it is? Because I remember always playing and being very excited before like a big game.
no, I had it. I had it when I was younger, but since playing professional, no, I have problems sleeping after the game because the adrenaline is still in my body, and
Start thinking about plays or chances or goals
exactly.
or assists or like how it all went down. Yeah.
Yeah, so mostly after the game, I don't sleep until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you're definitely a bit of a night owl. I know we've been chatting recently too, and you
Yeah.
get up pretty late. How much time do you take off each year to recharge your batteries? Like when a season ends, are you training a bit every day or doing some exercise, or do you take like time off completely?
No, it's also a part. I think it's a part that could have helped my career even more if I would take care of my body more during the summer. But I mean, you basically destroy your whole body the whole season. You go all in, you do everything, and then when you have vacation, you just want to enjoy life, and just take off some time and enjoy. So I
And
don't do anything during the break, and then before a couple of weeks before the break starts, I go all in and start the professional routines with extra training, eating right, sleeping right, and getting in shape before the preseason starts, so we don't get injured.
right, and how did Las Vegas come into part of your routine in poker? How did that? Give me like a typical summer, like the last 3 or 4 summers. What's a vacation? You go to the U.S., you hit L.A., you hit Vegas, Miami. What are your stops in the U.S. or places you go when you travel?
I used to go to Miami first. Stay in Miami for like a week. One of the years we took a cruise ship. Me and my family, we took a cruise ship to Mexico, Jamaica, and Haiti, I think. Then we flew from Miami to Vegas, and the last 2 years that I've been there in Vegas, we went to LA first. We stayed in LA for like a week, and then we had a road trip. We rented a car and drove from LA to Vegas.
And how did you get into poker? Because I know you love PLO in particular. Like, what drew
Oh
you?
yeah, well, my PLO became like a thing later on. I have been playing poker for a really really long time. I'm still not good at it, but but no, I've been playing like what, 10 plus years. No limit hold'em then,
Right.
but maybe 4 years. I started to play PLO. It's a lot of action. I'm I'm kind of an action guy, and yeah.
Yeah.
I started to love it more and more than No Limit Hold'em. I still like to play No Limit Hold'em tournaments though.
Tournaments are fun, right? It's like that's how I feel. Tournaments for poker, No Limit Hold'em makes more sense, but PLO cash seems to be more fun. That's kind of like
Exactly.
the balance I like as well. We had a question in the chat here. If you were given a choice to see a classic, which one would you choose and why? Boca Juniors versus River Plate, Real Madrid versus Barcelona, Liverpool versus Manchester United, Milan versus Inter, Marseille versus Paris Saint-Germain, or Flamengo versus Fluminense. Which battle would you like to see the most out of those? If not any of those, what would be your personal one? But out of that list, what do you pick?
Oh no, I'll take Barcelona, Real Madrid anytime.
Yeah, that's some high level stuff.
Yeah. I'm crazy about Barcelona, so I would take that game any time of the week.
Who do you pick? There's a lot of questions in the Twitter, which we do have a $55 ticket giveaway if you guys want to go over and take a look. Because once we're done chatting here, we're gonna go through a lot of these. But there's a lot of questions about Ronaldo, Messi, that debate. Who do you believe is like? Where would you rank those guys on the list? Like, is it if you choose one, and also maybe give me the top 3, top 5 all time like players in the game that you think are just, give me Ronaldo or Messi. Who do you choose? You could play with on their team?
Well, it's not for me. It's not even a question, because for me, Messi is like maybe 2 levels higher than Ronaldo, and that's my personal opinion. I mean, not everybody have to agree with me. I mean, for me, LeBron is the greatest of all time as well. So, a lot of people would think I'm crazy and say that it's Michael Jordan. But for me, Messi is the absolute by far best player ever. The things that he does with the ball, how much he makes his teammates better. He doesn't only score goals; he assists goals. He's happy for his teammates. You can't always say that about Ronaldo, but he's an absolute machine. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's fair. I mean, again, it's like for me, it's interesting because you hear this debate and going back and forth, but you live it, right? It's your industry. You kind of you pick up on the little things, the technicalities, the differences, the off the ball, like you said, make
exactly
a lot. But obviously, Ronaldo's
absolutely
our animal as well.
Absolutely.
Matteo Mata also asking your experience in Cagliari. You scored in your debut in Rome. Then you had some physical problems. Did you ever have injuries in your career until this? We'll talk about the latest, serious injury, but did you ever have sort of issues or any type of physical ailments or things that happened during your times playing professionally? Or was it really only this last?
Yeah, well, it's actually that's actually the reason why I played only 7 games in Italy. I had hamstring problems, and it came back in the same place like 3 times, and I was off like 2.5 months each time. So I basically missed the whole season because of the injuries. If I wouldn't be injured, I would say that I would continue there at that moment.
Right.
But yeah, it's things that you don't really have control over. It's I mean, you can prepare yourself as good as you can to not get injured. But as you saw, my latest injury, it has nothing to do with preparation or being physical strong or not.
Yeah, tell me. Let's cover. This is sort of again. You went to this club in 2018-19. Then what was Kalmar? That says ALL. That's the competition. What's that? What league is that?
It's also Sweden.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So you're there, Kalmar, and then Rizeport. You come to Rizesport.
Rizesport.
That's I'll let you do the pronunciations. That's also in Turkey.
Yeah, that's in Turkey, and it was the coach that I had in Ankara Gücü went there, and he brought me with him because I performed really well under him, and I knew his system and the way he wanted to play. So it was it was an easy thing.
Yeah, so you go there, and not long into the season, I know follow you on Instagram, and we keep in touch as well. We were looking here, I don't know if you had you had an Instagram incident, right, where someone did nonsense and your pictures got taken down, so you basically had to restart your account or repost it. So but you did have a very serious injury, and tell me about what happened there and how many games into the season it was.
It was the second game into the season, and we started off really well. We won the first game. I had an assist on the goal. I was in good form. Even the preseason, scored a lot of goals. It was like I was feeling strong. I was feeling real good, ready for the season. And then the second game, the ball got in front of us, and me and the defender got in a sprint duel, and he came. I was going straight, and he came from the side, and the ball was in front of us, and he tackled me, and he basically
scissored you,
scissored me, and my foot got stuck in the grass, and he ended up with his whole body weight on my leg and broke my leg.
He was a massive guy as well. The picture is very scary. It looks like just a nightmare. I mean, looking back on it, it's like any play, any situation, the ball's going, people are moving fast, it's intense. But is there anything you think you could have done differently? Do you feel the guy, was he out of line? Could he have maybe not gone as hard, or do you think he's playing trying to be aggressive and tough, or was it avoidable or no?
Yeah, obviously it was avoidable because it wasn't that dangerous of a situation. But at the same time, everybody plays to his abilities, and he might be not able to stop me if he wouldn't do that in that way, like tackling. At the same time, I wouldn't think he was tackling me to break my leg on purpose. I don't think.
Do you know that player? Did you know of him, or just, I mean, you played before, or was that
no?
He's in the league playing, and what about afterward? Right away you knew it was. You knew it was bad, right?
Oh yeah, I know it was broken. I felt it immediately.
And yeah, what exactly was broken? Your leg, or which part?
My fibula.
The fibula, and
yeah.
What type of recovery time, or what does that mean? So second game of the season, basically the season is this happened how many months ago now?
7 months ago.
And how has that recovery process been? Is that gone well? Are you fully recovered? What percent are you?
I'm physically or how do you call it, medically,
yeah.
Medically fully recovered, but I'm not in 100% shape or form. As I've been before. It's gonna take his time, and the time that it takes, I'll have to just accept it. I'm training fully. I'm training here in Sweden with a team of a friend of mine on the highest level, and I can see I'm still a couple of steps in front of them. They're not on my level, but physically, obviously, they're in better shape, and I have to get there. Right. So I'm working on it right now.
And so does that mean, pronounce it for me one more time, the current club, Rizespor?
Yeah, Rizespor.
So you are currently with this club? You're still on their team, or is this new?
No. We mutually parted ways.
Okay.
I basically almost got all my money that they had to pay me for the whole season. They wanted to bring a striker who was ready to play because they were in a bad position in the January transfer window, which I totally understand. That's the reason why we mutually parted ways. I could stay there and not be able to train and get all my money. But yeah.
So how How does that work then when something like that happens? Is it a clause, an injury clause? You still get paid, or how does that work in terms of
No,
injury?
at the time that I was still there, I still got paid. I get paid every month. Although in my contract it said like if I get injured longer than 3 months, they have the right to not pay. But they promised me they would pay, and they paid everything until now.
That's yeah. I mean, well, that's good of them because I mean, yeah, obviously that's something that's not in it's not in your control and it's a tricky situation, but that's something you're working through. And what's the plan now then? What is the goal for you now? Because you said you hope you have a few more years left to give. What would be an ideal situation for you?
Well, I just want to. I have some things going on right now, or going on that I have planned, and I just want to give it one more shot to reach the highest level of my abilities, and to see where I can end up, and that might be Premier League, Bundesliga, Italy. I want to give it one more shot and go all in, and see if I can reach that level. Because in my mind, I can play on that level. I just need to force myself to a chance, and I got some good contacts who might help me with that.
Well, the Miami Football Club Beckham is involved. There's a MLS. You like Miami? That could be a future. Is that a possibility? Is MLS how realistic is that?
You can give my number to them straight away. They can call me immediately. I'll be there.
Yeah, that would be a fun way to end out the career, right? In the U.S.,
Absolutely.
in one of those clubs. I mean, the MLS seems to be growing a lot. Like they just expanded new teams. I think they're over 30 teams, and it's franchising. It seems like it's really growing. Which is great because American football is obviously it's a bit behind the curve in general, but it seems like they're really making a lot of strides in general with the youth systems and doing things the right way.
Yeah, they've been growing amazingly the last couple of years. I've been following the MLS for a long time now. I was close to sign for an MLS team a couple of years ago. Even, and I have a lot of friends playing there now as well in the MLS. So it's going upwards.
Trajectory is good. Do you feel that the U.S. could win a World Cup in the next 4 to 5 World Cups? I mean, it's kind of hard to predict in this many years ahead, but where do you feel like USA soccer is on the map? Do you think like who wins a World Cup first, USA or Sweden in our lifetime? Or how? I guess Holland is obviously they're a world powerhouse, but like let's take Sweden versus USA. Who has a more realistic shot of winning? They can't.
No, both of them won't win it anytime soon, I think. Although they have nice generations coming up, young players, both Sweden and the US, but I don't see them competing with the big teams.
What is I have my opinion. What do you believe is the reason the USA, dominant athletes, NBA, best league in the world, NFL, best league in the world for the sport, Major League Baseball, all these major sports, NHL, 4 of the most popular sports, I guess 4 of the 5, and then in the football and in American or soccer, they just, it takes time or whatnot. But what do you think the reason is that the MLS or the America, like let's take the World Cup. Why is the USA so far behind where they're so powerful in so many other sports?
Development.
Right?
I think the general development of the game itself has been way higher in other countries because it's been such a big sport in the other countries.
Right.
And if soccer would be a major sport in the US for like 50 years or 60 years, I would definitely think that it would be a top team.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's always the answer is the best athletes are playing these other sports. If LeBron James grew up playing soccer, he'd be, imagine him being able to play like Messi and that kind of build, like you would be
crazy.
So it's like, yeah, I think that just, you spread around the best athletes, these other sports first, and then kind of, I think that's a big reason. But yeah, for sure, development as well. Like they have these thing called academies now, which I know it's basically what what is going on with Ajax and all these other clubs, right? They have their youth systems. They develop the players from the start. Now I think they're starting to do that in a lot of the states in the U.S., where I think that's going to help a lot.
I actually played against the academy. I think it's IGM.
Yeah, in
IMG.
Bradenton, Florida. Yeah,
Exactly, in Florida. We were in training camp in Fort Lauderdale, and we played against them. I think it was outside of Tampa,
yeah,
if I'm not wrong.
yeah.
So that in the US they have so big opportunities with facilities and everything, and the financial power to do anything they basically want. It's just you need to have the knowledge and the right people to start those education
Yes.
and academies.
Yeah, absolutely. My dad also asking, can tell he doesn't ask questions on our podcast. He's fascinated, but he wants to know about analytics in professional soccer change the game at all. Are you following statistics? Are you doing? Is there a lot of work on camera, film? Are you studying some of that, or does that clubs put a lot of preparation in this stuff?
Yeah, well, lately a lot of clubs have been starting to use GPS tracking to see how much you run, in which areas you run. Obviously, with filming, film analytics, almost every club have them.
Right.
I as a player myself, I watch every game. After every game, I watch my game back to analyze what I did right, what I did wrong,
Yeah.
what I can do better, and so on. What I have to work on. And there are many more who do so. But clubs in general, they're going with the technology. I just don't think you have to steer blind on the statics,
Right.
because a lot of things that you do on the pitch don't show on the stats.
Right. That makes sense as well. And are you critical of your game? Do you look back and say, "Oh man, I should have done this better. Like this was not good," or
Oh yeah.
You're pretty hard on yourself?
Oh yeah, I have to. I mean, I've learned it along the way in my career that you have to be you have to be hard for yourself. You have to look in the mirror and say, listen, this is what you did wrong. This is what you did right. This is what you have to work on. This is what have to get better. So no, I'm not shy at all. I'm hard to myself.
That's good. So you're a student of the game. You want to
Yeah.
continually progress and get better. What was there any breakthrough, like any, in poker? I think it's pretty amazing actually the similarities that I see between poker, the mental side, and soccer, and just sort of it's very highs and lows too. You got to be pretty balanced because there's games where you play. I'm sure you're like, man, I stunk. Like I didn't do anything. I couldn't get the ball. I was lethargic. And then there's games where you're like electric. And you're like, man, put me in. Like I should be in the Serie A. So being able to sort of stay even keeled when you're playing well or not. Have you ever had some pretty big funks? Like it's similar to like poker. There's times where you go on a bad run in tournaments, and I'm thinking, man, am I playing bad? There's variance. Like was it unlucky? You have to be able to sort of stay shift and stay neutral. Do you ever have some funks like where spells where you're just like, man, I don't know if I'm not playing well, I'm not scoring?
No, but I've had like a series of games where I just don't score. I just can't hit the net, and it's a mental thing. It's gonna sit in your head. I've had it when I came to Sweden first. I was playing so well, but I couldn't score goals, and it took me three games. I think 3 games I didn't score, and then I scored such an ugly goal. It was like a rebound, and the defender missed it, and I just shot it, and it went on the goalkeeper, and it went in. And from there on, I started to score goals. Even though it was an ugly goal and it was lucky and all of that. From there on, it was just going up and up.
I don't even want to go this route, but I would say that's similar. Back in the single days, if you could, you're having a drought with the ladies. Sometimes you don't have to get the prettiest girl in the world, but sometimes you can just get things back into the right. You know what I'm saying? We'll just
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get on the board.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, yeah, let's not go down that path. But you're happily married, me as well. We have children. Things are good. You're recovering from an injury, and you're ready to rock. You're ready to put in one more good stint here, and hopefully, when do you think you'll find out about where you may be next?
Well, it all depends on the coronavirus, when it's gonna be over, and when sports are getting started.
We're gonna cover that as well for sure, because that's it's a very unique situation where in our time you never see like the whole world of sports stop. Sports betting, it's such an intricate part of people's lives. Action, Sports Center, it's like I'm not really watching TV in general, but can you imagine if that, like, your day to day, you want to watch sports of some kind, there's nothing, it's reruns, it's like kind of crazy, right? Like there's nothing going on. So how has this impacted the football world? Because I Serie A and stuff, they were talking about playing games behind closed doors. Coronavirus, I think there was an outbreak on Juventus. I don't know. In your world and club and teammates and people if anyone had it?
No. To be honest, I don't know anybody who has corona. And like yesterday, I got to hear from a friend that he knows somebody for the first time. He knows somebody who has it.
I know plenty of people. It's definitely, it's like I have a handful of guys, like even Gary, who you plays. He had it. Like 3 or 4 guys in this other poker game I know had it. We were talking a couple of weeks ago, and you were at a casino, right? A week ago, and playing. Like, I mean, it's that's not those are places where it can spread. And I mean, that's why I think it's showing that the world hasn't like fully sort of locked down and take, not to say it doesn't take serious, but I know in Sweden, in certain areas, it's just there's not really any cases, or very few, right?
Yeah, there is very few in most places in Sweden. It's more like in Stockholm and Gothenburg, where it's mostly, and those are the big cities. But I have how do I have the feeling that people really don't care that much here.
Right.
Because a lot of people are still out there sitting on cafes and drinking their beer and enjoying the sun. The social distancing is minimum at this moment, I think, in Sweden. At the same time, me and my family, we keep ourselves at home, and I've been training. I've been training with the team, and nobody had it. I think they made some tests recently, and
but when you guys are training, are anyone wearing masks? Are you trying to keep it just playing normal? Are you giving people hanging out, same old?
When you come in, you elbow each other instead of giving each other a hand or whatever.
Okay.
But that's basically it. Everybody when they come in, they wash their hands, and that's it.
Okay. And so it goes to them here, who's my main moderator on Twitch, the man right here. He asks, what's the oldest somebody could get signed to start for the first time in a professional club? Could we see Jeff starting for Bayern or Toronto? Like, how old do you have to be? What is it too old? Like, someone just showed up and like out of nowhere signed a professional contract? Because normally you sign when you're 20, 21, 22. But are there guys that like come in at 30 or 25 or 27 and they just sign?
No, the coach, the coach that had me make my debut. He said exactly these words to me: if you're good enough, then you're old enough.
Yeah.
So basically what he's saying is it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you have the qualities to play. And I mean, anybody can get signed. I mean, nowadays 15, 16 year old guys have major contracts in England. It's crazy. But that doesn't mean that they will play in the first team.
Right.
It's more that they sign them to have them under contract for the potential that they have.
Right. Well, we do our World Cup each summer in Vegas. I know we talked about this. This is asking, do you think it would be unfair? Poker players drafted the footballers for the Las Vegas World Cup. Like, how big of a, I mean, we got to have you basically. Are you going to be able to play any of these in the future? Will you be in Vegas, let's say next year, not this year, for July? Like what's your time frame you can be in Vegas? Because I think we just missed it. We were trying to have you come play, and then you
Yeah, I was leaving like a week before. Obviously, I want to play. I mean, a lot of professional football players are in Vegas during the summer, and we always find each other to go and hang out and play some friendly games against each other. So I would definitely be in for the World Cup, and I don't think it's unfair. I think I would honestly think it's more fun for you for the amateur guys to play with the professionals.
Let's lock it in. I mean, USA. We'll bring you to USA because I don't think there's a Sweden or a Morocco team club, but you can play with us. We've won it a few times, so I don't know if we need.
I've seen some highlights of you, man.
Yeah.
I've seen some highlights.
Yeah, we would have fun.
Skills.
We'd be able to have some fun. Another question: who are the best footballers you've played with? You mentioned a couple names, but played against or with in the Serie A. You got to play, or in Turkey, you're playing against the high level teams as well, and players. Who's some of the best you've played with and against?
For me, the best player I played with is Samir Nasri. Samir Nasri is the absolute best player I have played with. Played in Manchester City, Arsenal, Marseille, and we played together in Antalyaspor. He's just outstanding. And the best player I played against has to be Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Where was that? That was playing in Sweden, in a league?
No. When he was playing in Milan. He was playing in Milan. I was playing in Cagliari. So we played against each other in the Serie A.
Nice. That's pretty cool. He's definitely quite a personality as well. Fun guy, and
amazing.
He has a great time. So that's cool. Man, it really is. It's fun. It's fun to hear, it's to go through the journey and just where you're at, obviously coming off an injury. So we're, wishing you to the MLS. I hope you come to the MLS and in the US, but wherever you end up landing, we're going to wish you success. Let's take some of the questions, because there are a lot, but before we
fire away.
Last thing I want to say about the COVID-19, when do you anticipate this being back? Because this is a big deal. A lot of guys that are playing professional, you're talking about the highest clubs in Barcelona, and they're giving 70% of their contract, this and that, and the clubs and the whole ecosystem of a club. But, how about, let's just take Häcken, where you are currently, the area, like that club. What kind of impact does that have on clubs like Sweden, Turkey, of these football clubs that aren't operating? They're not selling tickets. They're not.
No, they don't. It basically stands still. They have like a system here that covers up like 90% of the salaries of the players, but I think it's only for a short period.
Right.
I don't know exactly if it's for 3 months, 4 months.
They're saying that it might not be back till 2021, sports and stuff. What happens? When is your guess when, let's just take a few of the clubs. Let's just take the Turkish league and the Swedish league. When do they start playing live games again? And is it with behind closed doors, no fans? What's your?
No, I think that's the first step. I think the first step will be without fans. Playing, having all the players tested, all the staff tested, and the people who work in the club, so you can run that operation. Then I think, to be honest, I think it's going to be until next football season will be possibly without fans. And then when everything is under control, I don't have a clue when it's going to be under control, and I might not be the only one, but I know it's a dangerous virus, but I don't know why I just don't believe that much in it.
Right. Yeah. It's a complicated situation, no doubt. It's very, very, very uncertain times, and unfortunate, but hopefully everything will be better when we move out. Things will be learned and it moves on. So let's Let's dive in here, man. A lot of questions. I'm surprised there's so many because it's such a poker dominant group. But people love they love their questions. They want to know what's going on. So let's go through here. So has your life been changed with the coronavirus specifically, or not? Not yet.
No, no. I'm playing PlayStation and training just like before. Yeah, that's basically it.
I want to look here as well. You obviously Twitch is a big part of my routine, and you actually have a Twitch username and handle. Is this is you playing here? This is
this is one of my teammates that I had at that moment.
Okay, but are you on camera? Are you just showing your game, or are you on video?
No, I'm just on the mic. I actually haven't installed any camera on my PlayStation yet because I'm sitting on my computer at the moment.
Okay.
But the plan is to put a camera so people can see me as well.
But and the chat is up while you're live, and you talk the whole thing. So you believe in Twitch, you like it, and you're
I like it. It's fun.
That's cool. All right. So you do stream on Twitch, guys. Give him a follow right there. El Kabir 10. So when he is ready, get the notifications on and be ready for that. How would you say poker and gaming, poker, and soccer? Why do you think you like those things? Are those safe to say those are three of your favorite sort of hobbies or pastimes? Competing.
I think it's competing. Winning. I don't know. I have a thing for it. I'm a competitor. I like to win.
Okay, I get it. I'm the same way, right? It's like all these things I like as well. I played video games, I played poker, I played soccer. It's there's a mental aspect. There's that you have control to a lot of degree. It's fun, but there's also luck. A nice combination of skill and luck. So someone's asking, have your workouts been canceled due to a virus? You basically saying no. You've actually been training and nothing has changed. Does that surprise you a bit because of like all the major leagues and stuff? Or stuff like it's just like right now is Juventus, are they training? Are they together and doing stuff?
No. They're training on video call. My friend who plays in Cagliari now, they do the same thing. They're on video call, being on a bicycle or on the yoga mat and doing exercises together with a physiotherapist or a physical coach of the team. That's what most of the teams do. By the way, the guys who had corona in Juventus are fully recovered. So that's I've just to be honest, I just seen a lot of positive things about the athletes that have been how do you call it, that had the COVID-19, that they all have been recovered by of it. So
that's good.
I don't know. Yeah, it's I mean the media, in my eyes, the media is too much on the negative things and way too little on the positive things, because there are happening a lot of positive things with the people who have the virus or had the virus and recovered from it, and I mean, all the negative things, it spreads fear into people, and it's just unnecessary.
For sure. What's your favorite soccer club?
Ajax, obviously.
Ajax.
That's my number one club.
There you go. What are the similarities you see between football and poker?
I think that it's way harder than people think. Right. Because I mean, as a professional football player, what people see is like the game on the weekends is what they see, while they don't see the 6 other days, what you do and what you put into it, and how much you invest into it. And I think it's the same with poker. The so many hours that you study and review your hands to get better. They might just see you winning tournaments and like, hey, how does he do it? How does he do it? But all the hours that you put into it, they basically don't see it. So I
Right.
think that's one of the similarities. And yeah, it's about winning. It's a sport itself. I think poker, people don't see it as a sport yet. I think, but it basically is, in my opinion.
Absolutely. What's the favorite? What's the top league right now? Which of the four?
Premier League,
Premier League's the best one.
absolutely.
Give it a scale 1 to 100. So if a Premier League is 100 in terms of the top, and rate the other major ones. Like actually, give me like Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, and then give me the MLS and the Turkish and the Sweden. Give me like some scales so we can have an idea.
I would say we'll take it from 1 to 10. Number 1 would be England. Spain number 2. Germany Bundesliga number 3. Italy number 4. And then France number 5. I would put Turkey number 6. I would put MLS number 7, and then Sweden number 8. Let me put Holland number 7, MLS number 8, and Sweden number 9. And then you have all kinds of competitions, obviously.
And Holland with Ajax, Feyenoord, right? Is there what are the other top clubs there right now?
PSV,
Very good, right?
AZ Alkmaar is doing really well. They've been champions a couple of times in the last 10 years.
Right.
Those are the big teams.
How big of in some of these countries though that are like Holland or Turkey that have Galatasaray and some others, how big a disparity really is it? Because even in the Premier League and the Bundesliga and the Serie A, like there's always usually like 2 to 3 or 4 clubs that are pretty dominant. Is it similar in all the leagues? Like, is it because the drop off between the 1 and the 20 has got to be pretty?
That's the fun part in England. Any team can beat any team. I mean, obviously Liverpool has been on an amazing season this season, but they lost against Watford. They lost against Watford, which is the last team in the league.
Leicester City was 5,000 to 1 to win the Premier League, and they won, which is the craziest thing of all time.
Exactly. So that's the beautiful thing about the Premier League. That's why I rank it as number 1. Obviously, there are big teams and strong teams, but the level is so high that for me it's an obvious thing that it's number 1.
Yeah.
And then in Spain it's really you can see the big teams are way better than the other teams. You have Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Sevilla, which are way better than the other teams.
Right.
And it's obvious in Italy it's not that. You have the big teams like Milan, Inter. Milan at the moment is like shit, to be honest. But you have Juventus that have been dominating for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
they won like eight championship.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Do you think they're going to finish the seasons, or what's going to happen with the results in the league? Because I've seen bits and bobs, but I haven't followed it super closely. Like, are they going to finish out the Serie A season, or are they?
I think every league wants to finish it. It obviously will be without fans if they decide to finish it. But for example, Liverpool, if they cancel the season, that's I don't think that's fair, because Liverpool is like ahead with 26 points, and if they cancel the season, that would be no title for them, and they've been waiting a long time for a title. But I think they would want to finish the season. I don't know if it's realistic though, if it takes too much time with this coronavirus.
Right. Okay. And someone asked, "Do you like samba? What about Brazil? Do you have any?
Yeah, I've had a lot of Brazilian friends, man, that I played with. So I love it. And believe me, in the locker room, it's a lot of samba.
Yeah. What is the favorite football stadium you've played at? Was Galatasaray or anywhere that was just like the most electric atmosphere?
No, the most impressive stadium that I played in is San Siro against AC Milan. But I've played in a lot of big stadiums, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, even Al Ahly. We had 66,000 people in the stands, man. It was a full stadium, totally new. I've played in Stadio Olimpico in Rome. I played Juventus Stadium. I played in Hamburg, which is also a beautiful stadium. I played in Moscow, also a beautiful stadium. So I have played in a lot of big, beautiful stadiums, but San Siro is for me the number one.
That's cool. I mean, that is pretty exciting, right? To be able to say you played in these, that's amazing. What do you think about Neymar? Where does he rank in the all this? He's sort of always right there. He's younger too, though, right? He's significantly younger than Ronaldo and Messi. So I forget, maybe is he 24 or 5, 6? Like he's young.
I think he's 25, 26, something.
Yeah. So do you think is he going to be the best player in the world at some point, or is he next in line, or?
I think so. It's him and Mbappe, who are next in line. I think there are so many good players at the moment, but these guys are extraordinary, man. They are something else. And at the moment, for me, it's Messi, Ronaldo, and then you have Neymar, Mbappe, and some other great players.
Yeah. It's Mbappe really. I mean, they had quite a year with winning the World Cup, and obviously he's sort of shot on to the superstar level. Crazy. Who do you think wins the next World Cup?
Oh, that's a good one.
Come on, you got it right, man. We're gonna play this back. You got to nail this.
I'll go for Holland.
Holland, okay. Yeah. Where do they rank right now in the overall?
I think they're ranked like 7 or 8, but they should be way higher. They have a very, very talented generation at the moment, and they have been playing very, very, very good. So I'm looking forward to see what they can bring to the table.
Very, very, very true. They got a chance. They definitely have. Well, they're one of the ones that can win it for sure. Who's your favorite Premier League team and why?
It used to be Arsenal, or it used to be. It's still. I just don't enjoy them playing at the moment. The reason why is the 2004 Invincibles. With Thierry Henry, Robert Pires, Bergkamp, Ljungberg, Vieira. That team impressed me so much that I became a fan of the club and of the coach, the way they played the football, it's been a little bit downward since Arsene Wenger left.
I was actually at the last game at Highbury between Man United and Arsenal. I got to see Thierry Henry and then Rio Ferdinand battle, and like it tied 0-0, but that game was sick. It was like, going to Highbury deal actually after the game. Cause I used to go to a bunch of games, West Ham United this was like 2006. So they were in the top. I don't know if they're still in the top. I think they might be in the top league.
They are in the top league.
Kind of like towards what so one of my best friend was Anton Ferdinand and his brother. Okay. But I remember after that game, we went to the game, and then everyone got on the bus to go back to Manchester, but Rio stayed off the bus, and then I shared a cab with him. We went to McDonald's and then went out to the nightclub and would hang with him, and him and his brother, and it was just like crazy London.
What an experience, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was this was like 2006, the top of prime of his career and shit. It was crazy times, man. Like I seen the fanaticy of, I don't know if that's a word, but the people, the sports in this European football,
how much it lives.
The Premier, they're just so, it's actually like the movie Green Street Hooligans was actually about West Ham.
Yeah.
Very, very, very intense. People are really passionate, and it's like that in Turkey, and I know of many other places in Europe. So that's really cool that you get to see and be a part of that. Do you have a difficulty juggling the passion for poker while playing football, or is it just poker's always kind of like there on the side. It's like a thing you mess around with and kill it.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically how it is. It's a thing on the side, you know. I love it, but there is a time for it, and football is the priority.
Absolutely. This is an interesting question here. I don't know if you can read it. I'll read it out loud. He says, hello, Moestafa. As you played for Al Ahly, the Saudi Arabia, and Sagan Tosu in Japan, can you compare these two leagues, please? Lots of solid European players decide to play for such leagues, mostly because of money, I believe. But can you compare the soccer level between these two leagues? Can you give us like a look at the talent level in these leagues?
Oh yeah, the Japanese league is a really high. A real high quality league. I would even say it's better than the MLS, to be honest.
Really?
But I don't know if you can compare it because it's two different styles. They play a different style in Japan. At the same time, Saudi Arabia has been the top league in Asia. So those obviously a lot of players go there for the big amount of money that they can earn, but it's a good competition. Don't forget that there are a lot of quality players in both of the countries.
Right. What do you think about the Qatar World Cup? I mean, this is a big controversy. FIFA, money, type of different deals. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? Like the 2022, I believe, is that right? Or
Yeah.
They're talking about, or I don't know if it's still, are they moving it to the winter time, I think, or something, but it's.
No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna just have it in the summer, but I heard all of it. But I mean,
It's complicated, right?
what do we know?
Right. Yeah, it's complicated. It's also, I mean, the fact that it's like 120 degrees though during the day in these stadiums and stuff, and it's like they're gonna have to have air conditioning on the fields, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Also, not to mention they build these stadiums, these billion-dollar stadiums that'll never be used again. I mean, it's pretty.
no, they will be used. I mean, they have their own competition, but I mean, yeah, they.
But what are you gonna have? You're gonna have a 60,000 stadium.
No, exactly. They build it. They build it for the
1,000 people in it. It's kind of crazy, but yeah.
No, they obviously build it for the World Cup. You know, money talks in most of the places. That's just the world we live in, and it's not much we can change about it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Are you plan to attend that? Have you gone to any World Cups before?
No, I was close to signing in Qatar, but.
Guys, we're winding down the podcast and we lost Mo for a second, unless that's my internet, which is possible. His laptop died. Well, we're almost done. We've actually answered most of the questions. We could cut it there unless he can get unless we get him back. We might get him back. You know what? Honestly, that was the end. That was literally it. There's a couple more questions. Favorite football team? Why do you like PLO better? But we essentially were winding it out, and it's not a big deal because Moestafa is a great guy. I appreciate the time. We were basically answered almost every question. So we will do the competition retweet. Let me just pull that up quickly. And if he comes back on, then that will be great. If not, we can pick the $55 party poker winner. Let me just hear. He's texting me because his laptop died, but I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take this tweet. We're going to copy the link. Normally we let the guest do it, but here we can just go ahead and pick it. Let me just talk with him. So here we go. We're going to close it out. I'm not sure we're going to back on. We want to thank Moestafa for his time. I think we really got a good inside perspective of what it's like to be a footballer, to be a professional athlete. Also cool that he likes poker, shares a passion with that. I played some cash games with him. Actually, he's in one of our vlogs, the one with Phelps playing cash at the win. He was there, and you can check that out as well. That's on my YouTube channel. Let's pick this $55 winner, and then we will close it out. So right here, we see a winner. Andre Max 78, you are going to win. Let's give them the message. And I think that's it, guys. We have got 59. I got a very special guest, another non-poker guest next week. I think Charlie Carell, we're going to try to sort out to get on Epiphany 77, and we have some other really cool lineup guests in the future. So again, guys, thank you so much. That was podcast number 59 with Moestafa El Kabir, who is an absolutely pleasure to have on. So thank you guys so much. And yeah, we're gonna open up the guest categories, not just to poker, and we'll keep it rolling. And I will see you on a Twitch stream very soon, if not today, Saturday and Sunday, JeffGrossPoker.tv with Whole Cards Face Up. Thanks again. Appreciate everybody in our sponsor, Party Poker. We'll see you guys on the next podcast. Have a great day.